Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you are new here, my name is Catherine, and here I make videos every single Monday talking about just my journey to a slower, simple, natural life, and hopefully give some advice to help you do the same. Today's video is going to be a bit of a mishmash all over the place. I've been harvesting from the garden for the past week and a half, and it's just been coming on amazing, but nothing from one single day to make a full video about just that day. So I'm just going to kind of put together everything that I've been harvesting the past week and a half or so. So it might be a little bit mishmashed or all over the place, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Garden season is really in its big push stage, I would say, right now, where things are really starting to come on and coming on fast. Very soon we will be into the more of the preservation side of things with the garden, and I'm very excited to be making some videos about that as well. But without further ado, let us jump back a few days and see what I got to harvesting. I will see you on the other side. So we are at the beginning of August now, and this is the third basket of tomatoes I've harvested so far. But the first basket was over 4 pounds, the second basket was over 2 pounds, and I'm gonna go ahead and weigh this. Over 6 pounds of tomatoes from today. That is amazing. And we're just starting, and you can see these have some more ripening to do on the shelf on the counter, but most of these are cherry varieties, and we're getting over 6 pounds of tomatoes. So I am just in the kitchen and I am doing some early canning. I usually save canning for more as we're going a little bit closer into the fall season, even into fall, but I have just so many cherry tomatoes that I truly cannot get through them all. I've been eating them, my family's been eating them, I've given some away, and it's been such a blessing to have too much of tomatoes. But what I'm doing with them today is canning them up as seasoned tomatoes. So I'm making a kind of Mexican style blend, and I'm just going to be putting that together. It is a recipe from my Ball book of canning, which is a great tool to have. If you don't have it, I definitely recommend it. I don't always recommend buying things, but I definitely would recommend that. All the recipes in there are safe, tested, and really precise, which you want with canning. And just a excellent place to start. It has tons and tons of recipes. There's over 400, maybe 500 pages of recipes in there. So I'm just gonna finish up that project and get those canned up. It has been a beautiful day, and as you can see, we went ahead and harvested the white and red potatoes, and that is not bad. This full basket and this full basket. I am pretty happy with that, and a lot of them are really decent sizes as well. Of course, we have some of the teeny tinies mixed in, but a really nice harvest for a bed that honestly I thought was kind of going to poop a little bit because of just Oakley laying in it, and just didn't seem to be doing as good as it potentially could. But these potatoes will last a nice chunk of time for cooking. Only a couple of them got punctured. I'm pretty good at getting in there with my hands, so a lot of them don't get punctured. I get them nice, and that is better for storage, obviously. Only a couple got dinged. It's so fun harvesting potatoes because it's just kind of like a treasure hunt. It's like something so fun about, you don't know exactly where they are and you gotta dig them out, and it's always fun, especially when you come across a big one. It's so cool. So now in this bed behind me here, we have quite a bit of open space. So I'm thinking I'm going to plant some things that do better in the colder temperatures. We're not there yet by any means. We're still in very nice temperatures, but you know, already coming up to, you know, more mid-August, and it'll be just getting colder before we know it. So probably some more beets for the beets themselves and beet greens, and maybe some more lettuces, but I'm gonna go through my seeds and see. But that's gonna get planted up today. And I don't know if you see, but when I went on a walk around the neighborhood with Oakley, I think I must have left the fence open. I almost always just keep it closed because, you know, just in case somebody lets Oakley out and doesn't check to see if the fence is open or closed. That's happened a couple times, somebody accidentally leaving the fence open, and then Oakley decides to go for a walk around the neighborhood, which is not fun. But I must have left it open the other evening or something, because I noticed today some deer poop in the fence, and I was like, how did that get in there? Deer, if they wanted to, could jump this fence. They have the ability to do so, but where we are, they get plenty of food. They don't have the desire to do something like that. We've had no issues. I'm 99.99% sure that I just left it open when I went for a walk, because they come out during the day. You can see deer pretty much any time of the day around here. They just walk on by. I'll put in a clip of me going on a walk, and it's not deer, but there's just turkeys in the middle of the road, and they barely care that I'm coming up to them. Like, I zoomed in on the video a little bit, but they're literally like maybe 5 feet away, and they just barely move out of the way for me. So I may be in the suburb, but there's so many animals, and they just are used to it. But to get back on track, when that happened, a few things got eaten. One of those things being a couple of the sunflowers. Thank goodness they didn't take out all of them. Just those two is fine. I would have been quite sad if they, you know, ate all of those. They also ate the Swiss chard, but that wasn't a big deal because they didn't eat it right down. There's still the little leaves coming up, so those will come right back. And I think they ate a little bit off of the beans, just a little bit, but that shows you how much they can do if given the chance. I definitely recommend, if you're somebody that is just getting into starting a garden and lives anywhere where there is deer, that could be an issue, that you invest in some kind of deer fence straight off the bat, whether you're in a town like me or even in the country, because of course the country deer can come right up. But definitely do that, because unless you have a dog that's out all night, which you may if you're more in the country, but the deer don't care. Like, Oakley is always out in this space. His scent is everywhere, and yeah, given the opportunity, they came right in. So definitely make that part of, if you're like planning out a budget for starting a garden for maybe next year, definitely make that part of the budget if this is, you know, beginner garden first time. Because if, you know, the pests, if the wild animals get to your stuff, it really can completely just take your garden out if you're not careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through my seeds and then plant this up, and then just enjoy the rest of the evening before I have to get ready for my evening class. So first of something for the garden this year and that is a big tomato. And that is a pretty big tomato. Like, it's a big tomato and it's a big tomato. Like, this is probably one of the biggest tomatoes I've ever grown. Not sure the variety. I'm very excited. No, Maggie. Don't clean my face. So far I have harvested over 24 pounds of cherry tomatoes, and a lot of them I'm just freezing to be able to make tomato products with, like I would my paste ones, because I just can't get through all of those, obviously. But I got the basket again tonight for this evening, and we're going to harvest some more. I've actually put it off for a few days because there's just been so many, which is such a blessing, but definitely a little bit overwhelming too. But of course, the best kind of overwhelming, where, you know, you're just forced into having to make things with what you have and figure it out and figure out how to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and get picking. And I got 2 baskets because they've been really filling up this basket. And we'll see how much I get again tonight. Okay, it is now dark. It is getting dark, I should say. And I just got done picking so many tomatoes. So here's the first one I picked that then I weighed, and it was over 8 pounds. And here is another basket full as well. Same day. Let's see how much this one weighs. And then over another 4 pounds on top of that. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pounds. 12 pounds of tomatoes for the day. So something I'm deciding to do is to slow roast some of my cherry tomatoes. And I don't think I've ever done that before. That is mostly just because I am not the biggest fan of the dried tomatoes. I typically just like fresh tomatoes. I'm not sure. I'm not big into dried fruit in general because of the chewiness, but I just think having some of these tomatoes dried, and sorry, the lighting is so bad, having some of these tomatoes dried, I can put them on sandwiches or pizza, just different things. And I have so many right now, so I think I'm gonna grab some of those, take the stems off, and pop them in the oven with some olive oil, a little salt and pepper, and just let them dry out for probably like 3 hours, and then we'll have a nice treat. Let me just show you how many I currently have in the fridge. Ready? Okay, literally I have a basket just in here and tons in the freezer already that are going to stay in there until I'm ready to start canning. So the one thing that has just been, I guess, the unfortunate thing with the abundance is that I've been having to put the fresh ones even in the fridge. I just squirted everywhere. But even though they are actually still excellent being in the fridge does take away some of the flavor of tomatoes. So you ideally don't want to keep tomatoes in the fridge unless you have to. But I definitely have to because the fruit flies have been crazy. So currently literally nothing is out on the counters because there was a point that it was just so thick with fruit flies. I can still see behind me 1, 2, just a quick glance. It was crazy. It gets pretty crazy every year, but that was pretty bad. But luckily, actually, just now with me tasting these are still really quite good. even though they've been in the fridge. And I'm going to probably eat some as I'm doing it. These big ones are just going to go in the freezer to be part of what's getting canned up. Oh, and I do want to mention, so my favorite variety, my favorite cherry variety, is this one right here. And this variety is called the White Currant, and it is by far, in my opinion, the best tasting cherry tomato. If you like that acidity, that high pack flavor, this is what to plant. And they've been really abundant as well. The best flavor. If you've never grown those before, definitely give them a try, because I swear by far they are the best. Actually, I'm not the only one. I watch Heather over at Sage and Stone Homestead, and one of her most recent videos, she actually said that they were her favorite too. So I think they are just the best. But actually, for my mother, her favorite variety has been the Berries Crazy Cherry, which are also very, very good. I personally would say they are a little more watery, not as big of a flavor, but apparently to her, that's what she likes more. And they're literally made to be crazy. They have grown so much. There's so many of them. They just put on flowers in these huge, huge, like, tufts of flowers and bursts of tomatoes. So super, super prolific, probably the most prolific that I know of. So that's been a really good combination for us in my garden as far as cherry tomatoes go this year. The White Currant and Berries Crazy Cherry. Very good. But definitely consider those varieties for your garden next year if you've never grown them. Okay, let us actually get to not just eating them, but getting them ready to roast. I'm gonna take the stems off and cut them in half as well. So to end this kind of harvest week and a half extravaganza, I guess, I really want to make a really nice meal using almost all stuff that I had grown myself. It's going to be a roast chicken dinner, which no, I did not raise my own chicken, but it's going to have chicken broth, which I made from chicken parts that I did have to buy, but I made and canned myself, with sides of mashed potato from my garden, carrots from my garden, and as seasoning, oregano and thyme from my garden, filled with onions and garlic from my garden. So I'm really happy that truly a majority of this meal is going to be coming from something that I grew. The only things really is the meat and a little bit of lemon juice that I'm going to use, because we cannot grow lemons in Maine, unfortunately. But to me, that is such an accomplishment. I love gardening and I love just being out in nature and just taking care of the plants like that. But this is really what I'm working for, which is to grow food to be able to provide for myself for the majority of the time. I'm really working towards being more sufficient with what I can do myself. So it's always so rewarding when I see that happening in real time. So with that, let's get together our meal and get it started.
Who says that I've got the answer? Jumping through hoops, looping time. Does a fish know it's in water? Do we all share the same sky? Cars swimming upstream. Everybody's trying to do big things. Storm running through rain. Nobody's gonna win that race. This long day short. Forgot what we're working towards. Face red, heart blue. Telling lies I wish were true. How do I feel? What's been missing?
Here we are, back again at the end of the video. I am so excited for all the blessings that the garden is providing. It is amazing to have the almost stress of having so much food. I know that I showed that I did one small little canning of some tomatoes, but I'm really going to be going through a lot of processing tomatoes as well as other things. If you want to stick around to just see what I am going to be getting up to, then please consider subscribing to join this community of like-minded folk. Right now, I put out a new video every single Monday, so I do hope that you show up for the next one. But that is going to end it for today, so I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!
Caught swimming upstream. Everybody's trying to do big things. Storm running through rain. Nobody's gonna win that race. This long day show. Forgot what we're working towards. Face red, heart blue.